All right, so let's continue learning about dividing a decimal by a whole number. Eventually, we'll work towards dividing decimal by decimal, but let's keep things a little more simple until then. Um, One of the things this book does when it does dividing by decimals is sometimes it has you convert your decimals to represent a whole number, and that's what this warm-up's about on the next page here. The keyboard would work. Okay. It says complete each equation with a whole number. It just basically means um, you can basically turn any decimal, any of these can be a whole number. For example, this is 4/10. This is, if we added a 0 here, that'd be 40/100. Um, for this one, for whole numbers, um, each whole number, that would equal 50/10 just on its own, plus the 2/10 there, that'd be 52/10. Um, and this would be, this 5 would be 520/10, or hundredths, excuse me. So again, we're going to steer away from this, but it's just a good to know type thing as far as that goes. So there's that. But we won't be converting. We'll kind of be just sticking to the standard way of doing things, like we're going to see on page 351. All right, so Coach Ann is setting up 2 7/10 kilometer race. She uses flags to mark off 9 equal sections of the race. How far apart should she space the flags to mark off the sections? First of all, let's set this up horizontally. So we're taking 2.7 kilometers. That's what we're dividing up. And we're dividing it into 9 equal parts. Then our answer or quotient will be what each of those parts is going to be. So I think it's good if we rewrite it this way horizontally, because I want you guys to learn how to see a horizontal problem and then transfer it to this. So 2 7/10 divided by 9 equals this. Okay, first and foremost, a lot of you see 9 and 27 and you're already thinking 3, and that's great, but I want you to bring your decimal point straight up before you start anything if your dividend has a decimal point in it, because it's easy to forget it, and if you put it there right away, you know what to do. Okay, so we see if 9 goes into 2, and it doesn't at all. So we'll do that. We'll see if 9 goes into 27, and if we go by 3, we'll see that we get nothing left over. So our answer is, how far should she space the flags? 3/10 kilometer is how she should space them, just like that. Okay, so there's that. Pretty simple. Again, it's like multiplying with multiplying decimals. If we just take the decimals out for a second, we'll see that underneath it's all the same traditional stuff we've been doing for a while. So you can use a bar model to do questions like these. You can also convert it into a multiplication problem, since multiplication and division are interconnected that way. But again, some of these techniques are a little more involved and complicated than I think they have to be. So this is a good to know and not something that I recommend. All right, so look at, picture it. Picture is the bar model. Why is the bar divided into 9 equal parts? Because Coach Ann marked off 9 sections for the race. Okay, and what do you need to find? The length of each section. We know the total length of the race. We know how many sections. We just need to know that part, length of each section. And the thing with division, your parts are all going to be the same equal size. So if you find one, you know all of them. That's the whole point of division. Look at model it. How does the division expression 2 7/10 divided by 9 relate to the bar model? You need to divide the number of kilometers which are 2.7 by the number of sections, which is 9. Yep. Explain how you know that 2 7/10 equals 27/10, because I know 2 1s equal 20/10. These 2 1s right there. And then you just already have 7/10 there, plus 7/10. And that equals my 27/10. How far apart should Coach Ann space the flags? In tenths, the answer is 3/10. So we have this. We express that as a decimal as 0.3. Notice this is 0.3 kilometer, and this is 3/10 kilometer. They're the same exact answer. It's just if you don't put the decimal part, you've got to describe it in words like they did with tenths here. Explain how you could divide a decimal by a whole number. I don't think we've got to do that. I think we know how to do it, so we don't have to describe it. Okay, so skip 6, and let's look at the 3 questions on the back and get some practice in. So again, I want you to write the problem horizontally. How much will each person receive if $20.35 is split equally among 5 people? Take your 20.35 and divide it by 5. And that gets you your answer. So again, the purpose of this is so we know how to easily transfer this to our traditional setup. So $20.35 divided by 5. So that looks like this. You do not need to bring down your your money symbol when it's here. We can worry about that till the end. The less junk we have in the way of what we're doing, the easier it is to kind of see what we need to get. Okay, first step. We are going to go bring up that decimal so we don't forget it. I know 5 does not go into 2. So we're going to skip that. I know 5 goes into 24 times. I'm going to bring down my 3. 5 does not go into 3 at all, so that's a 0. 3 minus 0 is 3. Bring down my 5. 5 goes into 35 7 times. And look at that. We don't have anything left over because everyone is going to get $4.07. Just so happened that amount divided equally among 5 people. Okay, move on to the next one. What is 99 hundredths divided by 11? So this one's already written horizontally, so let's just go ahead and set it up. All right, 0.99 by 11. Okay, bring up your decimal point. 11 goes into 0, 0 times. 11 goes into 9, 0 times. 11 goes into 99, 9 times. So our answer is going to be 9 hundredths. That's a little tricky one. Sometimes kids get really nervous when they're doing stuff like this and then they end up with these zeros. And they're not really doing much down here. But just work your way through the problem. Take a look at this. Like any problem when you start, and you can probably tell 11 times 9 is going to give you that. And it will make a little more sense. But just don't get too worked up if things aren't working out. Try to get to the end of the problem And you might be surprised how you will find the answer for that. All right, what is 51 and 2/10 divided by 4? 51 and 2/10 divided by 4. Bring up your decimal point. 4 does go into 5 once. 5 minus 4 is 1. Bring down your 1. How many times does 4 go into 11? Twice. 11 minus 8 is 3. Yes, you could borrow, but look at what happens. You end up with 11 minus 8 anyway. So sometimes you don't have to borrow. Use your best judgment on that. And 4 into 32 goes 8 times. And we got nothing left over. And our answer is C. Great. All right. Again, if you're watching this from home, just pause, go back. If you missed any notes, I go fast because I want to get the video in under 10 minutes. Sometimes I get okay with that. Sometimes I don't. Your classwork or homework, if you're home, is J4. Divide decimals using blocks and complete the equation. Get a hold of me if you have any questions on that, and I'll try to help you best I can.